So many stories, so many pains.
All around the productions.
Stories of heart, murder, holiness, love, passion, passion, passion. To not be able to speak when you want to be heard. Who would be the one? Clairvoyancy, clairaudiency. Any way we can get it done. Someone's gotta do it. Paranormal, but who will be the one? There are many. We need a whisperer. This is the way we go to school, go to school, go to school. This is the way we go to school, early in the morning. And here we go. This time we go to school. The legends that hide behind one of the most famous schools of Allentown School District. One of the most famous schools, Moser Elementary School. Created and built, founded 1917. Add-ons built in the 60s. The very first school to be recognized by the Allentown School District as a privileged school. Why did this school have so many privileges? The privileges that teach such a school. Very rare would it be that a school would have such a huge, wonderful auditorium, a huge, wonderful gymnasium, a huge, wonderful cafeteria, A school that would sit on the very grounds of the Allentown State Hospital. A lot of people want to conspire that's history, but the point is it's true. A school with legends. That's right, legends. Written in the very archives of the Lehigh Valley Ghost Legends. Written in books and libraries found around the world and across the United States of America. Moser has these stories, many considered to be conspiracies. Now, we must make a note. I'm going there, and I'm taking my little girl with me, my little Daisy. She's coming with me to this investigation, a father-daughter trip, so you speak. And why? Why do I bring my daughter to a father-daughter hunt, looking for the spirit of a little girl? Why do I bring my little girl to search for the spirit of a little girl? We must be careful, because there was another little girl. That ghost is lost in the very same woods. Charlotte Moyer, 1993, murdered by Mr. Harvey. We can't get the two stories mixed up. We can't let them braid and get tangled and confuse this story. We must look for the story written in the archives of the legends of Moser Elementary School. We must find the very ghost creature that used to haunt the people in the haunted woods. A house, a building that is no longer existent, so they say, but the foundations may still be there. We must find those foundations before it gets too dark, because when it gets too dark, the shadow people like to come out. And when the shadow people come out, they like to be menaces, if you know what I mean.
Hello, welcome back to Ghost Radar. I'm going to stand over here. The reason why I'm being so cautious is today we're doing a surprise gig that I wasn't expecting to do, but something came up earlier today that made me want to go after this story. It's Moser Elementary School in Allentown, Pennsylvania. I'm here with my daughter, clairvoyant. And the reason why we're doing this is urban legend says that the story of a young girl falls from a third floor of the school. Now here's the school. Now the reason why we're not going up, as you can see, there's still people here, and there's a lot of people in the front.
Oh.
Now the thing about this is no school in their right mind, especially Allentown School District, is going to allow ghost hunters to come into one of their schools. No school district wants the public to know that one of their schools are haunted. Now the story is about a little girl who died jumping out of the third floor window. Now we do see 3 floors on the school. I'm going to show you yet again. Now we got to be cautious. We can't let them know that we're recording, otherwise they'll think weird things, or we're filming kids or something. So basically, apparently the little girl jumped from the 3rd floor window, and supposedly still haunts the school today. Am I looking for the little girl's ghost? Not necessarily, but I am going to take a crack at it. They say at nighttime you hear screams coming from the school of the little girl, and supposedly there's a shadow of a man. Teachers have said it, students have said it over the years, that there is a shadow of a man that is seen in the hallways and in the stairway going up and down between the 1st and 2nd floor. Who these people might be, or who this individual might be, came to my attention earlier today. I did a little research on the school. A lot of questions before I get into that. A lot of questions that resolve around this is, why would the little girl scream? Oh, here comes the moths and stuff. watch me filming. What do you call it? Why would the little girl scream if she was on her own jumping? Now, you're going to jump from a window. That means you're doing it on your own. You're willing to jump. But if she was screaming, it means she was probably trying to get away from us, from people. This event supposedly happened in 1919. Moser Elementary School opened up 1917, and what I had found out today was Mr. Moser, the guy the school was named after, when he opened up the school was the first of the Allentown schools, or elementary schools, should I say, to not only have their own cafeteria, but also have their own auditorium, their own gymnasium, which was a very rare thing to see in elementary school, so it was like top state of the art at the time. He was a big contributor to Allentown General Hospital and the Allentown State Hospital. And in fact, the Allentown State Hospital, like you've seen in Constitution Drive, is right over this, past these woods. It's right on the over the mountain. So this is actually part of State Hospital property that was eventually sold decades later to people who now own homes or whatever that are on it. Now the weird part is they had buildings of their own. We all know this. A lot of people talk about the crazies that run through the woods for the state asylum, people that broke out, Constitution Drive, River Drive, and all that other stuff. Now, these woods right here, they talk about being haunted woods. They hold a haunted woods there every Halloween. Usually a place that they hold haunted woods is there was some kind of history there that makes it spooky. Now, who was this guy? Now, this is a very important thing. This guy apparently was hired by Moser Elementary School. He was an inmate of the asylum. Said to be he wasn't a violent guy or whatever. Apparently, somewhere in this area, they had a house where they allowed him to live on the property. He was hired by the school to be the janitor at night. So these woods are the haunted woods. Said to have possibly had this house that lived there. During Constitution Drive, the series, okay, I had spoken to some of the people when we were doing the state asylum, and I was talking to certain people that were driving by and whatnot, and they told me, one guy in particular told me that there was a farm here. Now, the weird part is it is believable because there were farms all around the state hospital. The inmates lived in some of those farms and helped us. That's how they got their food and stuff. It's actually a pretty cool story. But the thing that makes it hard to me is all these woods got big trees, which means the trees were there for a long time. Which means, how can you have a farm in the woods? You need fields and stuff to grow your crops and all that stuff. It's self-explanatory, really. But the weird part is this guy, who was hired as janitor, means he had access inside the school. Obviously, janitors do most of their work at night. They go into the school at night, they clean up all the classrooms, mop the halls, all that other stuff, which means he had keys to get in. When this young girl supposedly jumped, okay, it was at night. So what was the girl doing in school at night? Unless
How did she get in?
She must have been taken there. Rumor has it, I found stories about the girl dying, about the girl being there at night, jumping out the window. There's all kinds of stuff I found about that.
You know what her name is?
But there's no articles telling me about this guy. And did this house exist? According to what legend says, is that when the police went to go find him, they went to the house to find him, and he had set the house on fire with himself in it. Now, this I find interesting. He commits suicide. A lot of people from the state hospital were arsons and stuff like that. So the only way we're going to find proof if this really happened is to see if there's any evidence that this house is still there. I had a guy that I spoke to earlier and told me the foundations to the house are still there. Only the up parts and the roots are no longer there. They don't even have the rubbish, the buildings no more. So it was not, it was a housing house. It wasn't a farm like I was told last year. So first thing we're going to do is today we're going to go and we're going to try to find this house, which means that requires us to go into the haunted woods.
Yes.
Later on, we're going to sit here and see if we can find the screams that we hear from the school. So let's see how much truth there is to the story. Let's go.
A janitor that was a employee of Moser Elementary School and a patient of the Allentown State Hospital, Mr. Jonathan. Jonathan Stewart was his name, and he worked for Moser during the decades of the 1920s. At the time, the Allentown State Hospital was quite a problem, a handful, so to speak. So we must find the little girl that supposedly jumped out the story window, which we'll talk about that in just a moment. But first, let's go deep into the woods, me and my daughter. The very same woods at which Charlotte Moya's body was found in 1993. But we're not there to find Charlotte. We're not there to find the spirit of that young girl. Perhaps another day we will take on that challenge. But now we must find the very foundations of this house that Mr. Jonathan Stewart stayed in during the 1920s, 1930s. In this time frame, he was a janitor and a custodian for Moser Elementary School. Nobody wants us in those woods, so we must move quickly. We must storm the forest and try our best to find this place before it gets too dark and the shadow people decide they want to play.
Alright, so what we did right now is the school's down that way. We came up and around like this, taking us to where we're at. Seeing it's got to be underground, it's got to be relatively within this area. The road ends right there at that pole. It goes down in curves. So some here, these are the haunted woods I keep telling about. I read about articles. There's even an article in the morning call about creatures coming out of the woods.
Really?
And when they caught the creatures, it turned out it was a pack of kids. But when you listen real closely, you could definitely hear sounds in there. You do hear the voice of people in there. So what we're going to do is we're going to go up in this path right here. Somewhere right in there, my daughter says that she found the building or foundations, and you can kind of see it. So we're going to go in, climb this hill and shit right here, and we're going to find out.
What time is it?
Now I am told about people watching this area pretty closely. I'm going to show you over my shoulder. We do have a visitor. It mysteriously just stops right there, so we're going to have to go in another way. We're going to go in through the back.
He's driving along slowly.
We'll keep the camera on. You never know, you got creepos out there. You know what I mean? That looks more like a police car right there, that one. I don't know if it is, but looks like an unmarked car. Alright, the car's still sitting there. Now we turned out of his view. Let's see if he comes down that way. The car's right there. Oh man, I got a pee-pee so bad.
Me too.
Anyway, it's creepy enough as it is. Car's still there.
It's coming up.
Is he coming?
It looks like it. The car got closer.
The car got closer. You know what? I'm gonna have to go back and get my taser. Alright. Didn't get too chance to move. We got a cop. Well, not a cop, but that car right there, he's turning down. It's a minivan. Kind of makes you wonder. He just pulled away. Oh, he's going around the blocks. He just noticed that we're still here. So, let's hit the road, Jack. We're gonna go in there. We're going into those dark woods. Hopefully we can pick up enough light to film. Come on, let's go. Alright. A little light, I don't know how much you can see. It's not too cluttered. I'm gonna try to walk our way back here.
Over there.
Yeah.
The wall.
That way. I don't know how much you guys can see, but walking through all kinds of shit. There we go, got better view. Listen closely. There's definitely people somewhere around here. I can hear them. Hopefully it's not none of those crazies. Even though the asylum is closed now. It's like a little path taking us in. But man, shit in the way. We're going in.
There.
Where? You see it? Oh, yeah. You do see it. Alright. It's dark, but we're here. Here it is. Foundation. Oh, spider webs. It's about the length of a full-fledged house. Looks like a...
Those are the stairs.
Should have came a little earlier, I guess, huh? All that talking I was with this guy. Alright, well, try to get some focus. Oh, that would help. See, I don't know if you guys can see this. It doesn't look like it's showing up. I'm running the camera right along the wall. I'm physically touching it. There's my hand. I'm not getting no light at all. Alright, people.
I will lean against the wall.
I should have brought... There's the wall. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the foundation. Wish I could show you more. To an old house that used to be here.
Show them the stairs.
Here, walk down with the lighter. I don't usually like to hold lighters, but my daughter's 13. Go down there and run along the wall. So I can show... No, don't run. Go ahead. We're going to give you the best light we can. Go ahead. Sit down.
Can't do it.
Oh, that's a childproof lighter. Here, you hold the camera. Look at it.
I did it once,
in the
but...
lens. Look in the lens. Okay? Good. You see it? Follow the lighter. Follow the lighter. See this? It's the foundation to a house. In fact, here's the entranceway. It's now got trees on it, so it's been quite some time. So you go in there and it goes down.
Wait. Do that again. Show them the stairs.
Huh?
Stairs. Go show them it over there.
Steps would have been.
No, stairs are over there.
Yeah. Alright, we're going to walk down that way. Go ahead. Get the camera off until we get down there so that way you don't fall and butt down. On the state property.
No human shadows.
Where?
All surrounding, staring at us. Right there, all by the trees. Don't you see it?
Oh yeah, we got a bunch of people in there, huh? Oh yeah. Alright, let's go. Come on. I'm not gonna sit there and act like I'm not Bruce Lee. I can win a 32-man tournament, but I'm not going to fight 32 men at one fucking time. Yeah, we got people watching us big time. Like I said, there was a newspaper article in the Morning Call about people calling these haunted woods and saying creatures come running out of the woods around Halloween time. Well, we're in late September right now. We got another car coming out. That's that van again. That's the same van that passed earlier before. The one that was stopped there. I started to take pictures. I snapped one picture and the ghost radar popped up Jonathan.
There was two.
Now,
So me and my little girl go wandering in the woods. And what do we come across? During the time a parent-teacher conference is going on in the school, we wander through the woods and what do we find? The very foundations of this home. The very home that was owned by the Allentown State Hospital, Mr. Jonathan Stewart, the custodian. Evidence is there. Evidence is there indeed. We do find your home, the place that you stayed, under jurisdiction of the Allentown State Hospital in the 1920s. The one man that would have had the ability to stay inside of that school all hours of the night. I mean, think about the story. It's pretty simple. A little girl falling from a school window in the middle of the night. Why would a schoolgirl be in the school in the middle of the night? What would she be doing there? Unless the custodian let her in. Mr. Jonathan Stewart. Yes. We know who you are. And we will find you. We will find you before this evening goes. And we will also find evidence of the little girl. It doesn't matter how, we must find her. Through the ghost radar, through admiration, through a sign, or maybe an orb. Who knows what? But now that we have found it, we realize it is getting antsy. It's getting antsy. We've got to get out the woods. The shadow people are uptight, and they don't like us there. But are we afraid, little Daisy? Are we afraid? We ain't afraid at all. Not at all. We are here for a purpose, a primary purpose. And that is to find justice for this little girl. Her name has been buried in the archives of the Allentown School District and in the Allentown legends of Moser Elementary School. But we can find evidence if this legend is true. And we have so far found the destroyed home that sits in the woods behind the school. The home of Jonathan. Jonathan, I'm sure we're going to find you at some point. But now let's get out of the woods because they don't want us here. Let's go find the girl. Now here we go. We get ourselves out of the woods and we're in front of the school. People know we're around. The spirits know we're there. Jonathan, I'm sure you are aware we're there too because we know you're not alive anymore. Now are you? No, you're not. But little girl, little girl, little girl. Show me that you're not Miss Charlotte. And show me that you are who you are. Give us some kind of sign in the school. Which window? Show us the window that you fell from. Show us the exact location.
I just saw a blue orb in the window. Hoping I can see that again. There it is. I got it. Look at third floor window. Orb. Third floor window. Do you see it, Daisy?
Yeah.
Now that's an orb.
There's two of them.
Yeah, that's an orb coming from inside the building.
It's a pole.
Shh. Did you hear that? Oh, that's dog barking.
Dad.
Look at that.
You got two ghosts on the radar.
Ground.
It's the pole.
On the ground. We definitely got orb in the window. That just showed up. And it's steady. Moser Elementary School. I knew I saw an orb before. I knew I wasn't going crazy. Window, ground. She fell out and hit the ground, remember? And she jumped from the window. What did she jump from? What happened in that room right there? That's the question. In 1919, what happened in that room? You hear that? That was a loud noise, like something hitting. I'll try to get a picture of that. I had to watch my camera. I get people think I'm crazy, but I'm gonna try to take more pictures. We definitely got orb in the window. Alright, another car. Ooh, we're going real close to my shit. That car drove real close to my car, man. He was just a few inches away from hitting my window. Alright, I think that's them saying we got to go. But not until I try to get those pictures again. Yeah. You see, alright, obviously I can't hold this all night. It looks like a kid that keeps looking out this window right here. And I keep trying to get it. Right in that window right there. Like I see somebody running back and forth. Like someone comes up and trying to get out, can't get out. Up there, we seen the orb. Still in the window now. Orb is still in the window. The orb is not going anywhere. That is a bright orb. That is just chilling there. That is a real orb, ladies and gentlemen. It's a sign. Jumps out the window, falls. You always find orbs as they remain. Spirit still lingers. Can form orbs. It's them letting us know that they're there. You cannot see it with the eye right at the moment, and it's faint and it's disappeared. The orb is gone. But we definitely got something. I don't know if you could see me, but we definitely got something. We got people, guys, the kids, whatever, playing Boogeyman. And it turned out to be a pretty cool story. I think it's time to head back. I think it's time to head back. I'm gonna snap a few pictures of the front of the school as I'm driving by it. Thank you.
There we go. We find the young lady. We find the window, the orb is there. She shows herself. It's no light or anything inside the school because it goes out when she decides. Jonathan's name itself shows up on the radar. Isn't that convenient? So convenient. Was he upon us? Was he there with me and my daughter while we sit there and investigate the murder? Was it a murder? Or was the little girl trying to escape? That may of the story may not be told, but we know that she should not have been in the school at the time she was there. It wasn't the fault of the Allentown School District. It wasn't the fault of the little girl. A madman took the took the little girl, had her into school when she didn't need to be there. She tried to escape and somehow ended up falling outside of that window, hitting the concrete. All records, however, had been erased, only written as a legend in a book. In a book that you can find in almost any library. In a book, almost any library you find the story. It's a legend. It's written long before I made this video. It was just debunking it, trying to find it, and doing what it is that we at Lehigh Valley Ghost Whisperers do. Trying to find out if there's any truth to it. And we find out that there's something there. And there is a Jonathan. There is a house in the woods. And there was a child that fell from a window. Or at least one that's there now. Moser Elementary School. The stories on the grounds of ghosts that are there stretch far and wide. Not just the legends of a little girl who made the place famous. The unrecords of a Jonathan Stewart that they just don't want you to know about. A house in the woods that they tried to take away, but the foundation still remains. Murders. Bodies left there from other times, like Miss Charlotte Smoyes. We'll talk about another time. The Allentown State Hospital. Lord knows the history that runs through that place. That asylum has so many legends, as you've seen in our Constitution Drive, the series. But speaking of Constitution Drive, Constitution Drive. Do you know what next week is? Do you know what time is upon us? It's Halloween! Trick or treat, and what a special time it is this year. Halloween and trick or treat fall on the same day. And what a better time to go home. Our time here in Season 1, Lehigh Valley Ghost Whisperer, is winding down to a close. And what better place to close it than where it all began, my home. Constitution Drive. One more trip, one more time, I will see you. Halloween night. At Constitution Drive for the first time ever. Constitution Drive and Lehigh Valley Ghost Whisperer become one. This is the way we go to school, go to school, go to school. This is the way we go to school early in the morning.